It's the end of October 2024. The weather is beautiful in Turkey. If you're planning to visit, right now is the best time. We'll probably have another week or two before it starts getting colder. The sea is still warm, people are still swimming, the beaches are still full. Not as full as the summer, but there are still plenty of people on the beach. And there are tons of news. I'm Vas, welcome to my channel. Remember to subscribe, share this video, put some likes, and definitely leave some comments. It really helps. There are tons of news, there are tons of changes which are happening right now in Turkey. They are more or less settled for regular people. They're more focused on economy, what's going on. And the exchange rate is somewhat stable. The prices are still very high. In tourist places, prices are really high. If you are going to be in Antalya, downtown, in the center, in Kaleiçi, that's an old port, I have two tips for you. The first tip is there are two boats which take people along the coast, along Lara. One of them leaves at 13 o'clock or 1 p.m. and that is 2-hour trip. The listed price is 750, but like everywhere you can bargain. And that will take you to the waterfall, and then it will take you back 2 hours. Then there is another boat which leaves every hour or every half an hour, and that one is like 40-45 minutes if you're in mood for it. Personally, I prefer a longer one because on the short one it's just like, making love. If it's too short, it's not satisfying for everyone. So the longer one is a little bit better. The other tip which I'm gonna give you, in the area of bazaar or market in Kaleiçi, you can walk around and take a look at some of the courtyards. In courtyards there are some cafes. If you're gonna go on the street, prices are about 2 or 3 times as high as in those cafes which are in courtyards. Those are just little things, but they can help, and they can make your visit to Kaleiçi more pleasant. Because of the exchange rate, prices are, personally, I think they're way too high. News from Turkish government. 423,000 foreigners left Turkey this year. It's a result of the government policy of shortening the tourist residency and just making life of foreigners in Turkey less convenient. We can guess why, what is that the long-term vision of Turkish official is, but the results are there. One of the reasons that was done is because people felt that there are lots of foreigners, lots of people who rent in apartments, and locals cannot rent. Only in Alanya, over 40,000 foreigners left Alanya. But the results, unfortunately, for locals are not very encouraging. Local property owners do not want to rent to local people. The reason for that is they somewhat became corrupt with foreigners. First of all, they hardly ever negotiate, they just pay ask price. Secondly, they pay on time. And third, there is no problem with eviction. Once the contract is over, those people are trained, they're programmed from their old countries to move. With local citizens, things are a lot more difficult for the property owners, because the law in Turkey is on the side of a renter, people who rent apartments. And if you have hardship, if you can claim hardship, you pretty much can live in that apartment forever, infinitely. And that is definitely, you don't even have to pay full amount. People do all sorts of tricks. I've heard people living for 6 months, for 1 year or longer without paying. So they're saving a lot of money, and property owners, they lose a lot of money. For that reason, they don't want to rent to local people. And as I mentioned before, my personal vision is that this law needs to be balanced. How they will do it, will they do it, I don't know. I'm not Turkish citizen, I'm not Turkish official. But That is the problem. If more property owners will be reserved and they will say, I'd rather keep it idle, I'd rather keep it vacant and not rent, then people will have more hardship. And those are the people are usually who are in need of those apartments. They have perhaps problem with the income, they don't have much savings, etc. But unfortunately for now, that's what it is, that's what we have. The new law, which was issued by Turkish government, and that will apply to people who are refugees who came to Turkey because of the reasons of safety, they will be able to work in Turkey for 6 months without a permit. And they practically don't need to do anything for that. They can just, I guess, register as refugees and go ahead and work. And there aren't that many jobs, honestly saying. I don't know how people will be able to do it, but they can remain in Turkey and they can work. And also some of the relaxation, some of the relaxed laws were created for those who are athletes, people who train athletes. Those people will be able to also remain in Turkey and stay in Turkey, and if they can contribute to Turkish economy, their visa can be extended for 3 years, or their status can be extended for 3 years. From now on, the rent in Turkey has to be paid through banks, no more cash. There is a penalty established in the law for those who pay cash. I don't know how it will be enforced. Will it be enforced? I've heard that there are quite a few people who already got in trouble by paying cash, but the thing is, for many foreigners, it's hard to imagine. Lots of Turkish citizens, they don't have bank accounts. They still deal in cash and only cash. If they have to use banks, for them it will be novelty. It will be some kind of a learning curve. But now, not only the rent, but also if you are making a purchase of over 7,000 lira, you have to pay with a credit card, IBAN, or some other way you use bank. So that transaction can be traced, it can be viewed, it can be perhaps categorized for analysis, etc. And not only the established businesses, but the physical people, they have to obey this law too. I'm really curious what you think about it. If you have any comments, please put it down, because I've heard some other countries, and I visited some other countries where people deal in cash. And in Turkey, as I mentioned before, it was quite common to go buy apartment and you would bring $100,000-$200,000 in cash. That's how it was done always. Apparently, this law is not really applying for deposits in the bank. In the bank, you can still bring whatever cash you have, but when you're buying from the store, etc., you will have to use banking cards, or you have to pay through IBAN. And the last but not least, very important news for those who are tech workers. I think this is long overdue, and I think Turkish government somewhat is behind the times, but there is a new tech visa established in Turkey. And that tech visa is for foreigners who have something to contribute in tech area. They either will be employed or they intend to invest in some kind of a technology business. There are some privileges which they will be able to exercise, some privileges in tax area, some privileges in working in clusters of technology, and a few other ones. If you're interested, you can learn more about it. I'm not the final or definite source of this information. I'm just sharing with you things which are important, but if it's applying to you, you have to go and dig into details and research it for yourself. So if you need a visa, if you want to have visa, and if you want to have in Turkey, that is probably a great way to get your residency, and it's given straight away for 3 years. People who get married, they get 3-year visa and residency. So these people are pretty much in line with that. I'm sure that it's a lot better than 6 months on tourist visa. I'm Vas, welcome to my channel again. Leave some comments, leave some likes. Good luck.